everyone, and welcome to Scrapcast, the podcast where we bring you inspiring stories and thought provoking conversations with industry leaders. I'm Verkha Rani, co founder of ScrapItt, a social media platform redefining authentic connections in digital space. Today, I am thrilled to have with me someone who needs no introduction, Saurabh Varma, a film director, marketing professional, and founder of Hitflick. He is a powerhouse with over 27 years of experience in entertainment and brand excellence. From marketing over 1,000 films to launching in 500 plus cinemas and working with global giants like Disney and Netflix, Saurabh has seen it all. Saurabh, welcome to Scrapcast. It's an honor to have you here.
Thank you.
Saurabh, you have marketed over 1,000 films, which is an incredible feat. What are some of the key challenges you have faced while promoting films, and how has your approach evolved with the rise of digital platforms?
So, if you see the business of entertainment, it has several departments or several pockets, and one of the two primary pockets are the commerce side and the creative side. In the commerce side, you basically work upon on aspects of how it's going to release film, how it's going to be marketed, and things like that. On the creative side, there's a lot of passion, there's a lot of this thing, and you're thinking of a story which appeals to you more than the public. So you create something not thinking about the end game, whereas the commerce side makes sure that the end game is perfectly managed. So the challenges basically is that the creative mind does not understand the marketing, and the marketing mind does not understand the creative process, and people who master both kind of are very limited in this thing. So making people understand. Secondly, people think marketing of even a 4-year old child knows how to market, or it's so easy to market films, but it's not. It's the toughest job in the whole world. The moment you realize that the responsibility is much more higher than just thinking of something and saying chalo chand pe hoarding lagate hain. But executing it is another task, and whether it will have an impact is a third parameter which you need to think about, and that only comes with experience. Unfortunately, we do not have too many experienced mind in the field of marketing and distribution in India.
Absolutely, execution is the key. You have directed successful projects like Mickey Virus and Vicky Wellinger. What inspired you to transition from marketing to directing, and how do you balance the creative and strategic aspects of filming?
So I think it was an evolution, because what happens is when you're servicing others and you're thinking about perspective, I think the toughest job is to make a good film and then make sure that it reaches to the public. Releasing a film is a task in itself, and that's something which I had mastered. But then वो कहते हैं ना कीड़ा काट गया. So you basically wanted to understand that whether you have the ability to tell a story which the world will also resonate with. So the idea was that let's try and see if I can create a content as good as others, if not better. So that learning is still on, and I think after 27 years of my career, I'm still learning. So the learning never ends.
Absolutely, learning never ends. Having worked with giants like Disney, Sony, and Warner Brothers, what's one lesson or philosophy you have learned from these collaborations that stayed with you throughout your career?
So the international offices, they have a team of people. They have different departments, and they work in like, if I compare it to stitching a shirt. So a person who's just making the button is just specializing in just making that button. The person who's just doing the sewing is just doing the sewing. Somebody who's procuring the cloth is mastering and procuring of the cloth. That person has the expertise. But in India, it's generally dominated by the creative side. The director commands, or the actor says, okay, ये मुझे marketing करना है, ये मुझे करना है. Okay, if you want to do whatever you want to do, but मेरे पास dates नहीं है, whatever. So it's a little chaotic in this part of the world. So what you learn from abroad is that there are parameters, there are systems, and if you make those standard operating process, the marketing becomes much more easier. Internationally, in Spider-Man, they did a research. They understood how many male and female watched the film. But in India, there is no such data. And whatever data we have from say, theaters or exhibitors, not many dissect or analyze it. So there is a dearth of understanding numbers.
So, was there any difficult project that you have worked on which was very difficult to market from any project that you find it very difficult?
So I guess there are two kinds of projects. One with the big star cast, where just the trailer releases, like the recent Pushpa 2. I mean, no matter what you do or you don't do, the film is already hot. You know that it's going to cross some hundreds of crores. How many hundreds of crores is the question? But there are second kind of films where you have to scream to make sure that you exist. Just making sure that people know that the film is releasing. So the struggles are different. You're struggling to just make yourself present. So I think the second kind is the most difficult kind. When I made Mickey Virus in 2013, there was no OTT platform or anything. So you needed to find some method in the madness. But in India, there's no support for indie films or things like that. So the struggle becomes much more easier. Even now with OTT platforms, when you make a film for lesser cost, your marketing also becomes lesser. So how do you tackle that? That's a big challenge.
Yes. At ScrapIt, we emphasize building genuine connection in a world dominated by filters and superficiality. As someone who has spent years connecting with audiences through storytelling, how important do you think authenticity is in today's entertainment industry?
So there was a time when you could overact a little bit. You can say something. आप बंदूक तान के बोल सकते थे कि मैं तुम्हें गोली मार दूंगा. But today that's overacting. Today it's overdoing a little bit. And with social media, we also learned that being fake or trying to pretend can only take you to maybe a certain period. But after that, authenticity really really matters. So when you're talking about authenticity and everything, that's what audience is looking for. So you can't fake it for a very long time. The biggest rule of marketing is to be genuine, be objective, be a good listener, and then reciprocate with your feelings and thought. You can't just impose your ideas on anybody. So as real as possible is what works. Today, a Gulshan Grover trying to say, I'm a bad man may not work as much as a Pankaj Tripathi just, doing gestures and making sure that you still get scared as a villain. So the performances, the acting, the creative process, the writing, and the marketing, everything is changing and it has to be as real as possible.
Yes, that is true. Scrapit is all about giving creators a platform where they can share their stories without worrying about algorithms or virality. As a filmmaker and storyteller, what roles do you see platforms like Scrapit playing in empowering creators to express themselves freely?
So the biggest advantage of Scrapit is what I feel is that it's not biased. It's not favoring a certain person or a studio because they have more money or they have more strength. You're giving a platform to everybody equally. So people who aspire to be content creators can actually leverage this opportunity. If Scrapit grows, they also grow, and vice versa. So I think it's a win-win situation for the creators as well as you. So I think it's a matter of time, and people need to take advantage of such platforms. That's about it. And even if you make mistakes, there is somebody who can give you advice, and you can grow with it. So that's an amazing opportunity. Such opportunities was not available maybe 5 years from now or earlier. So the struggle was much more easier. Today, you can be sitting in Jabalpur or Gorakhpur or Bihar or Punjab or Kashmir, and you can use the facility sitting at your home. So that's an extremely important advantage of such platforms. So, and kudos for it.
Thank you so much. So, audiences today have so many options from cinemas to OTT platforms. How do you think filmmakers and marketers can stay ahead of the curve and keep the audiences engaged in their ever changing landscape?
So the landscape changes not just every year, but it changes every day. So the consumer habits are changing. So what you need to do is think what's going to work after a year, because any process takes a year to make. So do not start thinking, "Kya re, horror comedy chal raha hai, so let's make a horror comedy," because a year from now there'll be 20 horror comedies coming. So do not get into the bhed chal first. Second, think about the end game. who your audience is, who are you targeting, what is your intention. And third, the pre-production, the paperwork is extremely important. Do not underestimate the script writing, the details, the scheduling, because that saves your time and money. And more than money, it's time. Don't waste your time making average content. It's like, there's so many restaurants which are open, but restaurants with good food are very very less. So if you're from north and आपके खाने में देसी घी है, तो आपको स्वाद अलग आएगा. So आपके कंटेंट में भी देसी घी होना चाहिए. There has to be some class, some way, the or some uniqueness or disruptiveness in how you're telling your story. It could be as simple as a girl and a boy meeting, and there are problems and how they overcome the problems and come together, or perish together, whatever. The story can be as simple as that, but the way you tell it is going to make a difference. Platforms are giving you opportunity, but don't take it as for granted. Think through it. So many platforms teach you so many things. So many YouTube videos teach you so many things. But go with your heart. But think about every step at least 100 times.
So, what advice would you give to aspiring marketers and filmmakers who want to make a mark in entertainment industry, especially with so much of competition and rapid technological advancements?
So I can divide this into three parts. One, actors. Actors, the problem is that everybody is there to give them advice. Ki ye karo, ye mat karo. And out of which I think 80% of the advice may not apply to them, because one size does not fit all. Everybody has a different process. So it's, as an actor, you get confused. So I think understanding your own path is a difficult this thing. For directors, I think it's more tougher, because somebody else has to invest in your project. You have to make it well, and then make sure it releases well and it gets an audience. So staying in touch with your grassroots levels is extremely important. If you are from a smaller town, if you are from a faraway town, take the nuances of what you know best rather than trying to tell a story which others want you to say. So be real and be this thing. And as far as marketing is concerned, nothing beats experience. So you need to work with experienced people and gain that experience before you dwell into it. So that's extremely important, because India में film marketing के ऊपर hardly कोई literature है. So that needs to be worked upon.
So, you have held leadership roles at major organizations like Reliance Jio Studios, PVR Cinemas. What's the most important leadership quality needs to navigate dynamic entertainment industry?
So one of the most important qualities, or I can rather say that people lack that, and that's where companies perish, is because one is indecisiveness. You can't be indecisive about things, especially in a creative field where the decision of choosing an apple or choosing an orange is almost the same. यार एप्पल ले ऑरेंज ले चलो कल सोचते हैं. That can't be the outcome. So you need to decide. You can't be indecisive. Secondly, developing a team. We are in a business where the loyalty is for 40 days of shoot or 50 days of shoot. So you need to keep your team motivated, and you need to have the ability to make them do a better job than you. You need to find people who can do a certain job better than you, and that's what makes a good team. You can't run solo. I mean, that happens in films, but in real life, you have to have a team play. And third, and most important, your love for paperwork. You need to have the ability to translate your ideas into paper, so that when a cinematographer or technicians or anybody read your content or even your marketing plans, and when somebody sees that plan, they can ponder through it and maybe give you suggestions. And last, be with an open mind, be an observer, because there's so many things you learn with every project that the learning never ends. So keep learning, keep observing, and सुनो सबकी करो अपने मन की.
Absolutely. This is really amazing. So I would also like to know which was your favorite project that you have worked upon, like the movie that you have worked upon, you have directed, or any project that you have worked in the past.
So there's so many ideas on online as well, on Hollywood films, which have done some amazing marketing case studies, like The Simpsons, and many projects like Dark Knight marketing and things like that. So those are very inspirational. As far as my own marketing is concerned, what I learned from marketing films like Three Idiots, or even my own Mickey Virus, which was made at a very less cost, and it had faces of newcomers, but the struggle to make people aware of it, using television as a medium, Big Boss as a medium, using online in a different way. That's extremely, uh, you know, uh, inspiring for me myself personally, because you thought that you know everything till somebody tells you ki you know nothing. The audience has completely changed, and now you have to rework your strategy. So every day we learn something, but next day we unlearn something and learn something new. So that doing, learning, failing, and doing again is extremely. It's not easy. It's the toughest job in the whole world.
Absolutely. Indian filmmaking are making a global impact now more than ever. What strategies do you think can further elevate Indian cinema to compete on an international level?
So one is obviously there are very few people who understand international exploitation of Hindi films. So do not make content without being aware of how the film is going to be exploited there. Secondly, choosing the right team who knows things internationally is extremely important. So you need to know who you are, partnering with in terms of distribution, marketing, things like that. Thirdly, the cost has to be controlled. Every film has a market, but if the cost is not right, then people you won't find buyers. And lastly, make good content, make real content, understand what international people are doing, because their palate, taste, and understanding of content is completely different than ours. So we can't make a kuch kuch hota and expect the world to see it. So we have to try and test. And we please also understand that out of 100 things you'll try, 99 will be failures. So be ready for failures, because after those 99 failures comes this once in a lifetime opportunity. So it's not easy, and every country has a different take. Every person has a different take on content. So, and Indians, there are a lot of hustlers in the international market. They faff, they ruin the market. So the impression we need to take for ourselves as Indians abroad, it's extremely important that reputation of a country is maintained, and we enhance it.
The entertainment industry is known for its demanding schedule. How do you balance the creativity intensity of filmmaking with the strategic rigor of marketing and leadership?
So actually, 24 घंटे भी कम पड़ते हैं. Obviously, you're right, because time is less and the work is more. But the passion part of our business keeps us going. It's like not like we are selling the same atta dal every day. We are dealing with content which changes every time you do something new. So the excitement level remains the same. So that's something which is very interesting. Consumer, the way they're consuming content, it's changing every 6 months in terms of habits, because OTT is making them explore things from Spanish market, from Japanese, from Korea, from all across the world. So now every day is a learning, and we need to be at par with the international content. So that's something which is very, very interesting.
What advice would you give to young filmmakers or marketers looking to break into the entertainment industry? Are there any common mistakes that they should avoid?
So everybody has their own process. They will make mistakes, and no matter what you do, mistakes will happen. So embrace those mistakes. Secondly, if you think this is an easy world, it's not. It's as difficult as constructing a building, and you are just one of the person lifting the brick. You're not the contractor. You're not the architect. You're starting from small. So do not think that you can evade hard work. Plus, the failures, the percentage of failure in our industry is extremely high. We only see the good ones. Like, for example, in Telugu cinema, we'll see one pushpa and say, "Arey, Telugu cinema is rocking." But there are 300 films which have not worked as well. So you need to learn from failures as well as the success stories. But learning from failures is also extremely important, because what not to do is something people realize extremely late. And lastly, do your own thing, make your own mistakes. Don't be shy from making your mistakes, because they are going to happen, and accept them. Because I make mistakes every day till date, and I realize, अरे यार ये तो मैंने फिर I think I thought that it's going to work this way. It's not going to work this time. So it's like हर बॉल पे रन नहीं लगेगा, कुछ बॉल पे आउट भी होगे. पर शायद कभी छक्का भी लगेगा. So be patient and keep on working on it.
Okay. So, can you give us an example like of mistake and that has happened with you, and how did you overcome that mistake?
So, in films, it's all about pacing. So, either the film becomes extremely fast paced, and then people say, यार इतनी fast ही समझ में नहीं आया. Sometimes you make film so slow, बोलते हैं यार picture का ये part बड़ा slow है. So, what I learn is that when you make films, how do you, keep maintain that pace? First half slow था, second half fast था, या first half fast था. So that balancing of pacing is still a challenge for me as a filmmaker and almost for everybody. Like if Mr. Rajkumar Irani, whose all his films are a hit, including Donkey, but you would see that Donkey had this issue of pacing. So he'll rectify it in the next film, I'm sure. So we need to be aware of how fast or how slow we are going, whether it's filmmaking, whether it's marketing, whether it's performance. You can't, even in performance, you can't have pauses in acting so long that वो edit में ही कट जाए. So pacing is extremely important.
Thank you so much, Saurabh, for sharing such incredible insights and for being a part of Scrapcast. Before we wrap up, do you have any parting thoughts or message for our listeners?
So nobody knows nothing. That's what the mantra is in our business. सब ज्ञान बांटते हैं, but you need to have the ability to understand what makes sense and what doesn't on your own, because one size does not fit all. So do your own thing, and this is also a business of luck. But luck combined with sincerity and hard work is what makes somebody a success. So you can't control luck, but you can control your own sincerity and hard work. If you think you can lie through something, if you think you can over sell something, that's not possible in today's world. Please don't oversell. Please don't overdo. Be sincere, and people can read your energy. So that's the only thing.
Beautifully said. And to our listener, if you are looking for a platform where your voice can truly shine, just join ScrapItt. Let's make social media a place for real stories and meaningful connections. Until next time, stay creative and connected. Bye for now.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.